Good evening, everyone. Tewksbury Zoning Board of Appeals for July 29, 2021 is in session. First order of business, board reorganization. It's that time of year again where we reorg the board. So we're going to look for chair, vice chair, and clerk. If anyone would like to nominate anyone? No? Nancy Rigo as chair.
Second.
Ooh, that has been second. All in favor for that?
Aye.
Aye. That's a unanimous vote.
I don't even open my
So
mouth.
Nancy Rigo is now chair. Someone want to make a nomination for vice?
I nominate Rob.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded for me to be vice chair.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I move over to vice chair. It's good I sat in this chair. Now we need a clerk.
I
Nominate.
nominate Dan
Second.
Texera.
Second.
All in favor of Dan being clerk? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous vote. So that would be Nancy as chair, Rob as vice chair. The meeting is yours.
Well, I think you should take today's and then I'll take next month. Since you so kindly nominated me today and I wasn't prepared. so
Okay, I'll finish out today,
Please do.
and you can have next month.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, second item is approval of the minutes from June 24th, 2021.
I'll move the minutes, June 24, 2021.
Motion has been made to approve the minutes for June 24th and second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Another unanimous vote. All right, so let's do the first item on the agenda. I'll read it. I'm sorry about the name. Flane family? Phelan? Okay. Phelan Family Trust, care of Melissa Meach? Yes. Nice. For a variance under section 4130, appendix B for side yard setbacks, and section 4132 for maximum lot coverage of the Tewksbury zoning bylaw to construct a family suite addition as shown on plans filed with this board. Said property is located at 7 Bosvet Road, assessors map 45, lot 81, zoned residential. If you guys could come up and sit in this table up here. Whoever wants to talk. If you would just state your name and address for the record, please.
Melissa Meach, and my address is 8 Marion Drive, Tewksbury.
Thank you. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
So, an in-law suite on my parents' house. It's on 7 Beauvais Road in Tewksbury. You know, my husband, myself, and my son would live in the main residence, and my 2 parents would live in the in-law addition. My parents help us out a lot right now. My mom helps with childcare, and you know, we obviously want to continue helping them as they get older. And we just feel as though an in-law addition would be, or a family suite, sorry, would be the best way to go about this and would be beneficial for both parties. And last week we got approved for the 1,000 square feet at the building, for the building permit for the 1,000 square feet.
What do you mean you were approved for the 1,000 square feet?
Like versus the 800, we wanted 1,000. We went for the permit for 1,000.
Yep.
We went to the meeting last week for that, and they said that they approved it.
Which meeting? Planning board?
Yes.
Okay. All right, but you're,
But we have the variances that, obviously, that we're here for.
well, I'm looking at the denial letter from the building commissioner,
Yep.
and you have a paper street
Well,
that you're close to?
this is the issue. Whether it's a paper street versus a plot of land. And that's the issue that we're coming across, because if it's a paper street, I know that that's a 25-foot setback,
Yep.
because it's considered a front yard setback. But in my opinion and in my research that I've done in the past few months, it's not shown as a paper street on the assessor's map. It's just shown as a
And an unknown owner? Is that,
Unknown owner, yeah.
okay.
And I've done a title search myself. I've talked to Mr. Richard Howe, I've talked to lawyers, I met with Mr. Sadwick.
Yep.
And, you know, throughout all this research and speaking to people, sorry, I just got 4 wisdom teeth out, so I'm talking a little off, but
No worries.
after speaking to everyone, I don't really know why some people are calling it a paper street. So I argue that it should be a side yard setback because it's a plot of land, as shown on the assessor's map.
So it's, where is the front of that plot of land? Is it on the street behind you?
Well,
Does it stretch all the way through?
that's another argument that I have that I brought to Mr. Sadwick. It shouldn't show like that. There should be a line through the middle because there were 2 different developers. There was a developer of Beauvais Road and the developer of Grasshopper Lane, and they were never supposed to be connected. If you look at the original plan for the developments, there's a rock wall going right between the 2 developments. So I was explained by, I think I talked to the town assessor. But when she looked at it, she explained it that this piece of land was just kind of pushed aside along the way. No one really knew who owned it. I never got probated when the owners passed away, and it just kind of got lost in the mix.
So
And
when you said the owners passed away, you mean this?
the original developers,
Okay.
Mr. Beauvais and his wife, they
Okay.
both passed away. And I found record of every single other piece of land that they owned being either taken by the town for tax purposes or sold, and nothing on this piece of land. And when I talked to Mr. Richard Howe at the registrar's office, he explained that this land is so small and insignificant, it probably wasn't worth getting probated, and it just kind of sat there for many years. You know, the town doesn't want it, it doesn't really serve any purpose to anyone.
How wide is it, if you had to guess?
It's about 20 feet.
So it's just a 20-foot strip of land that goes from...
Exactly. And, you know, like I said, it shows on this map that it stretches all the way back to border Grasshopper Lane, but I have original maps. I can, you know, send them an email if needed. Those were never supposed to connect. You know, it's 2 separate pieces of land. But like I said, I think along the way somewhere, there was just some misinformation. No one knew much about it, and it wasn't really worth looking into, probably for many
Right.
people. But I did.
Right.
And I did present all of my findings to Mr. Sadwick.
20 feet wide is not even really wide enough for a street.
No.
Okay.
I think the argument was it was supposed to be a continuance of that Arthur Road that's there that connects Euclid and Beauvais. But like I said, I found a significant amount of information proving that that wasn't the case. Unfortunately, the developer passed away.
Oh, yeah, there's I didn't even look at that side of the map. There's a road right on the other side of it.
Yep. If I could just quickly direct your attention, if you look at the very bottom right, at the end of Beauvais Road, that's a paper street connecting to Euclid Road. That's what a paper street looks like on a map. Because that's not there right now. That's just people's lands. But that was supposed to be a street. So that's what it looks like on the map versus what the plot of land next to my parents' house looks like. That doesn't match to what a paper street would look like on the assessor's map.
I would almost disagree with you.
I know, because I pointed out Arthur Road.
No, not because of that. I think I take that back. Hard to see is being so small, and they put the numbers right through the lines, so it makes it harder to see. But what I was looking at is they curved the corner on Bosvet Road,
Yeah.
but they didn't curve the corner on the other side. So I'm going to take back my previous statement.
Yeah, there was a lot of confusion about this land when I brought it up to all the different departments in the town and different lawyers.
Right.
But for the sake of why I'm here tonight, I would just like to argue that I really don't think it should be looked at as a 25-foot setback.
To be honest with you, that's not up to us. The information that we were given, she wrote maybe a paper street, though.
Yeah, I read that.
Maybe
I'm
a
like,
paper
"Oh,
street."
maybe. Who knows?
We usually go by the commissioner's refusal,
Yeah.
the denial letter.
And he wrote maybe.
Maybe a paper street.
Yep, so then that's when Alex, she said to bring it up during this meeting because,
Right, but we're not here to determine whether it's a paper street or not. That's not us.
so who would? Because I already asked everyone in the town, and your advice would be very helpful to me because I don't even know who I could ask if I talked to Mr. Sadwick, and he told me he relayed the message to whoever the stand-in town manager was at the time. I don't know if it's still.
Yeah,
the
it
same
would,
person.
it would definitely be well above us. That would be more selectmen stuff, town manager stuff,
I
not,
did reach out to, and this was before the election, I did reach out to Mr. Kratman too.
Yeah.
And he's the one who put me in touch with Mr. Sadwick.
right?
And that's fine, and I don't mind bringing it above, but I just don't know who anymore, because I tried. I even Zoomed with Mr. Sadwick and
Right.
presented him with information, and he just said there's nothing they can do.
I don't know. That's a tough one. I think what happens with stuff like that is it gets called a paper street for so long that everyone just thinks it's a paper street.
Well, let me say this, so let's just say for the purposes of here, paper street, does it make a huge difference? Because either way, I have to apply for a variance. The question is how big, like how,
It would, the difference it would make to this board is you went from a 10-foot side yard setback to a 25-foot front yard setback.
right,
So it's, I mean, a variance is a variance,
right.
but in the decision, now we have to take into consideration, is it you're looking for a little less than 7 feet, or you're looking for 22
20.
feet?
Yeah,
That would just matter in the decision. It's not a different variance.
so for just the purposes of this meeting, can I just bite it and just say, okay, it's a paper street, and let's, since everyone wants
For
to call
the
it that?
for the purpose of this meeting, we could just stop talking about it being a paper street. We've already had the discussion.
Okay.
We can't make a ruling of whether it's a paper street or not.
Okay.
So we would go back to just considering your variance and your table of, what was the other one?
So the other one's the
maximum
lot coverage.
lot coverage. And we can vote on a variance. That's,
Okay. Yeah, whatever is fine, and whatever you need from me, I can
Yep.
explain, but,
all right. Any questions, board members?
No,
I'm actually not voting in this one, so no.
you can still ask questions.
I thought you were voting on this one.
Michael, Nancy, and you.
No one's asked. See, I can't even keep track of who's on the cases anymore, so
So-
I gotta go.
The side setback, right, she's looking for a variance for 4130 for that 3.5 foot when the proposed addition goes in to the paper road. That's one.
Yeah, the side yard,
Is she looking
Well-
for the front?
the side setback. Let's go back to the denial letter. Variance from the section 4130 table of dimensional requirements, which requires 10 feet side yard setback. You have indicated that this unknown lot map, blah, blah, may be a paper street, which would require a 25-foot front yard setback. So it almost sounds like nobody would even have known about it if you didn't bring it up.
I don't even remember if I brought it up,
Yeah,
but.
you did.
So that's my question,
It
Rob.
says so right here.
That front yard setback, 25,
What it pivots on is if this is a paper street, then that's a corner lot, you need 2 front yard setbacks.
yeah.
If it's not a paper street, If it's just a piece of property, then it's a side yard setback.
This side to the proposed addition, but she's also needs the front yard setback because it moves to 25 feet and she's at 23. Right? But that, what I was bringing up was she's at 23, but that's at the existing building it's grandfathered in.
Right.
So does she really need a variance for that?
No. No, she's looking for a variance for the proposed addition, which would be 3.89 feet away from the side.
So on the inspector's denial letter, you have indicated that this unknown lot may be a paper street, which would require a 25-foot front yard setback.
Which would mean if that's, let's just say that's Robb Road right there. It's a real street, it's Robb Road.
Oh, they're just talking about the proposed addition.
The proposed addition would have to be 25 feet away from that street.
Gotcha.
If that's not Robb's Road, if that's just owner unknown
It's 10.
piece of land, it's 10. But it's not our job to determine whether it's a street or not. And then we have
The
lot coverage. So you'd be 2.5% over your lot coverage. Correct?
No, I think it would be actually a little bit more.
All right, so
It would be, according to the survey,
Yeah.
the relief that I'm seeking is 7.37, oh, sorry, that's percent. So that's percent, so yeah, sorry, you might be right. I'm seeking about 7.37% over the 15% that's allowed.
20%.
Which brings it to 22
sorry,
point
yeah.
whatever.
20% is allowed. And you're looking for 22.37?
Yes, okay, yeah.
2.3. Right?
Yep.
So, on your family suite, it's not a fantastic print on it. How do you get in and out of it?
There will be a door on the side. I have some more copies that will kind of show better than a survey would show. Because I think I only gave you the survey, but I have an actual copy of the, can I approach?
Yes, please. I would love to see that.
Here's the existing and here's the in-law, so there would be the door.
Okay. Can we keep this?
Yep, and then here's another one. So there's two access.
Okay. Thank you. So here's one door, there's the other door. Oh, that's outside. Are there any, you got one door that goes into the existing house?
Yep. Yep, that would go into the house.
'Cause this is the existing house?
Yep,
This is the addition?
yep.
Okay. So you got one door outside, door outside, one door in. Do you want to look at that?
So, there's three entrances or two?
One, two to the outside, one to the inside. Why can't I find family suite? I know it's in there.
Out in the back.
Just in definitions? Yeah, there it is.
How old is the existing house?
They were built by Mr. Beauvais in like 1958, maybe?
So all the houses on that street have been there for
Yeah.
60, 70 years?
What was I thinking about with no outside doors on a family suite? What was I thinking about? I don't know. Family suite is an accessory dwelling unit located within a single-family dwelling, subordinate in size to the principal unit, and separated from it in a manner that maintains the appearance of a single-family dwelling. Brother, sister, maternal parents, grandparents, parental parents and grandparents, in-laws, and/or children of the residing owners of the principal dwelling may only occupy the family suite. You said you're going to live in it and your parents are going to live in the main house?
House, and my parents will live in the family suite.
All right. Any more questions?
No.
Anything else you'd like to say? We're not going to close it, I just have to open it to the public.
No, I don't think so.
Being a public hearing, we'll open it to the public at this time. If there's anyone who'd like to speak, they're all looking at me like they can't hear me.
They can hear you.
Anyone like to speak about this? No? No? The unknown owner isn't here? No?
I wish.
Just saying. That'd make it easy.
I can't tell if someone's online or not.
Oh, yeah, we got that thing, huh?
What's next?
No?
Nobody.
No one online? All right. Thank you, I forgot that. Anything else, board members?
Nothing for me?
No, nothing here.
All right. Anything else you'd like to say before we close the hearing and have a vote?
No,
All right.
thank you.
Somebody want to make a motion to close both parts of the
So
hearing?
moved. Move to close the hearing.
Motion's been made to close both parts of the hearing.
Second?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, discussion. So what I was looking at on this map,
Yeah.
if you look at all the other streets on this map, particularly this one, they have rounded corners.
Yeah.
Not that we're going to determine whether this is a paper street or not. This one, got rounded corners here, nothing there, no rounded corners.
Right.
So maybe at one time, somebody was thinking about it, and maybe they thought it would have been better over here, and then they said, oh, we can make a plot out of that one.
She said there were two different developers. Over here and the developer over here, so they probably had different curb cuts.
Views, yeah.
or cuts.
Yeah.
Different ideas.
Yeah.
And somebody just
That
said,
would make
"We'll
sense."
just leave it, and nobody would
That's
ask for it.
the determination, though, because if
Right.
we approve the variances, and then all of a sudden, 10 years from now, they put the road in, you have a house 3 feet from the road.
They're not gonna be able to. They'll never need to know it. I mean, it'll never be on the road.
They'd probably come back to us. I'll probably still be here, and I'll remember it.
We can make it.
Well, the one good thing is the side door is cut
Facing.
back, well, it's cut back into the building a little bit.
Yeah.
A little porch there. They're not stepping out onto the street if it ever happens. All right. Anybody ready to vote?
I am.
All right, so this, where is,
Yes.
no, no. I'm not good unless I'm at my kitchen table. This whole big table thing. All right, so they're both variances. This is what I was looking at. What were we looking for? Are we just looking for variances? And it's both just variance, because if it was for a special permit,
It's not, though.
we'd
so
have to
it's
do that one first,
Right, so it's just one.
just one. All right, if somebody would like to make a motion on this,
I'd like to make a motion to approve, I'm going to butcher your name, I'm sorry.
Phelan.
I got,
Phelan Family Trust CO Melissa Meach, for variance from Section 4130, Appendix B, for side yard setbacks from Section 4132, for maximum lot coverage of the Tewksbury zoning bylaw to construct a family suite addition as shown on plans filed with this board. Said property is located at 7 Boisvert Road, Assessors Map 45, Lot 81, zoned residential.
Second.
Motion is in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous vote.
Approved.
You're approved.
So much.
So what I would do, if you were really curious about whether this was a paper street or not, you'd have to hire an attorney. An attorney would have to do all the research, and they would
I have
find
to go
out.
to court.
You'd have to go to, yep, and they would definitely find out for sure.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, the thing is, we wanted that land originally. Like,
Right.
we wanted it. That's kind of why what started my research into it.
Right.
And it turned out, you know, exactly, I need a lot more money to hire a lawyer and everything, so that's when we were like, maybe we can apply for a variance and
right.
go
Well, I
that
didn't
way.
want to say it during the meeting, because I didn't want to sway anyone's votes, but
Yeah.
that's what you would have to do.
Okay,
If you're not getting anywhere, because it's not listed anywhere. I mean, even our own building commissioner says maybe. So it's just one of those things that just fell by the wayside years ago. So
Yeah.
it'd just be some legwork and money.
I mean, it's a good thing, right? If nobody knows what's going on, then they're never gonna put the road in.
right. No one owns it, no one knows, yeah, so it's just like.
No,
it's-
somebody owns
Should
it.
I keep my mouth shut, or, well, I already ruined that, so.
Somebody owns everything.
Somebody owns it.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Actually, no, I'm keeping this. I'm keeping it.
Did you guys approve 4130 and the other one?
You did.
It's together, yeah.
Good luck. All right. So that one, is this me? Yeah. Next item on the agenda. S&R Realty on behalf of Charles George and Andrew Zarulis for a variance under Section 4130, Appendix B, minimum frontage, and Section 4148 for minimum required continuous uplands of the Tewksbury zoning bylaw to construct a single-family home. As shown on plans filed with this board, said property is located at 40 Long Meadow Drive, Assessors Map 26, Lot 124, Zone Residential. You need
Do I need to sit out there?
you need to announce it. Recluse yourself.
I am going to
Recluse.
recluse myself from this, seeing I live on the street and it butts my property. And I will be voting on I will be speaking on it as well, so.
All right. Name and address for the record, please.
Mr. Chairman, Dick Pico from Woodland Design, 73 Emerald Court, Tewksbury, here representing S&R Realty. We have a purchase and sale agreement with the Zarulis family. What we have for you is a proposal to put in a single-family dwelling on a 1.38 acre lot that has 150 feet of frontage on Andover Street, which is the proper frontage, and it has also 90 feet of frontage on Long Meadow Road. Property is encumbered by quite a bit of vegetated wetlands, and went to the building department, conservation agent, and looked at possibilities. The request for the variance is that the section 4148 says that, section 4130 says that the frontage has to be where you're getting access to the dwelling unit from. And section 4148 is the contiguous upland. Total upland on the site is 27,000 square feet, which is more than the 21,000 square feet of upland that would be required as under the 4180. The Conservation Commission prefers this access if you have a copy of a letter in your packet from Stefani Gallo, conservation agent, Her letter is dated June 7th. And in her letter, she states that the environmental impact for constructing a driveway off of Andover Street is not the preferred method in order to gain access, because they're two different systems. The preferred mean of access would be from Long Meadow Road, which would require no impacts at all to the wetland resource area or the 25-foot buffer zone. So that's what, in order to not have a detrimental impact on the environment, we are asking for the variance, because this is unique to this particular property and not the zoning district in general, relief. Let's see here. We had applied originally for a building permit. The house was actually in the same location, but the driveway would come in off of Andover Street. And, at the time, the building commissioner, the previous building commissioner had said, you know, it didn't make sense to do that. The house was still going to be in the same location. You should seek an alternate means of egress. So we did that, and then there was the most recent previous building commissioner who wrote the letter, and the current building commissioner concurred with the letter that Ms. Noble wrote. So since we started this, there's been a few unusual quick changes in the building inspector, but they all have, the current building commissioner concurred with Ms. Noble in her letter.
So you, so where, house is between 20 and 34, so you're way up the corner of Andover Street. It's two lots, 20 and 34? I guess I'm a little confused at exactly where the property is.
The property starts on Andover Street, and then it comes down on Long Meadow Road. If you look at the plan, Mr. Chairman,
This one?
So they,
yeah,
on the second map, it looks like they're separating into two different lots,
right, yes, sir,
but it's not, it's one lot, right?
correct,
Like this one.
correct. But it meets the frontage area and perimeter ratio requirements of the bylaw.
So your lot, I'm looking at this map
Look at the assessor map there.
compared to this map. So you get, sure, come on. So you get Jeffrey Saunders, you get this one. This is you. So that would be
It's basically, this is the line coming straight up.
this one.
Right, right.
What about all of this?
This is remaining, this big hump of wetlands here, you can't get across.
Okay.
If you look on this one here, remember the additional wetlands, it's along the frontage of Long Meadow.
Can we share this with them? They're asking,
Who?
the people waiting, if it's separated.
There should be copies over there.
Not of this, no,
No?
no.
Do you have this on a
Yeah,
display you can show?
It's going to display it. What's over there is the agenda.
You reclused yourself.
I was just asking. I apologize.
Question for you. If you look at the wetland diagram right here, the conservation agent is saying that the road would require no wetland resource area impacts, but on this map, it's got to go through this is a wetland, right?
Come here,
Is it over here or over here?
come here.
It's even worse.
Right there. Andover Street, Andover Street, the one lot, it's this piece of land right there. That's right, it was Andover,
Right, it's the wetlands.
that side of it's wetlands.
Is the house going here or is the house going here? Oh, that's totally different than what I was expecting. Did I not have that map, that plot plan? Oh, okay.
Just shut the lights off?
Reclused yourself.
No, should I shut the lights?
Reclused yourself. Remember the old town hall? You had to put out your easels, use your little laser
I
pointer.
should have brought one. I should have belt and suspenders, you know.
Technology stuff.
I know it's on because we can why am I getting it? Did you want to try to log on to the WebEx?
Well, you know, I mean, I have it on here, so I can give them the copies.
Whatever way they can see it.
If that's,
We'll open it to the public, and then after we wrap our heads around it,
this. Oops, now my screen off.
You said you went to the Conservation Commission?
Well, we went to we met with the conservation agent. She went out and looked at the property after we had it flagged, because that was a question that was asked by the previous building commissioner.
I'm looking at a letter from I think the previous building commissioner,
Yeah,
Cheryl Noble.
right.
A letter from the Tewksbury Conservation Commission must be submitted confirming that this access is feasible from Andover Street. Did you just forego that because you're not going to go in from Andover Street?
No, basically what the commission says it wasn't feasible. If it were, then we wouldn't have had to come for variance.
Okay. All right, tell us a little bit more.
So basically, the remaining land is pretty much encumbered by wetlands, and that land will be retained by the Zarulis family, whether they make some kind of arrangements with people who live up above on Daniel Drive, or do something else with the property. The only dry access to the property is where we're showing the proposed building location. Everything else requires wetland crossings.
So you're showing me Lot A, or Lot B?
Lot B is the remainder.
All right, so you don't have 150 feet of frontage.
That one does have 150 feet of frontage.
I'm sorry, what?
Lot B does have 150 feet of frontage, but it's got wetlands across the front of
Right, but Lot B would be frontage on Andover Street, right?
No, Lot B would be on
it. Lot A
Long Meadow.
fronts on Andover Street.
You said,
Lot B is the one with the proposed building?
No, Lot A
Lot
is.
A,
I'm really confused now.
I got it here.
You just told me Lot A was the same lot.
So they have a line that goes up like this. This is Lot A. This is Lot B. They're building the house here. It doesn't have the frontage. It's only got 90 feet. And they're looking for the 150. He's saying they got the 150 on Andover Street, but the house is over here, so that's out of the, this is the frontage, which is 90 feet. But both lots are owned by the same owner, right?
right.
Yeah, it's all one contiguous lot.
Okay. You confused me with all your different maps. This one shows Lot B. This one where you put the proposed dwelling
I have it numbered wrong?
doesn't show Lot B.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was.
That's where my confusion,
That was a different.
because you put this big table of dimensional requirements on top of it.
No, the second one is got area and frontage, it just has inaccessible frontage other than over wetlands.
Is there a reason why those two lots are broken up? Why is it Lot A and B, and why isn't it just not all Lot A?
Because they want to retain the remaining land for the purposes of maybe selling it to the owner from the back or some other purposes. Rather than just have, plus, you know, building a house in there, you sell it, somebody's got 8-acre tax bill.
Yeah.
So what would happen if, then the building would be reversed, and we'd have to have a long driveway coming through the wetlands, which would be pretty disruptive to the wetland area.
So Lot B is not even in question right
No.
now. We're just
Lot A
talking
only.
about Lot A.
Correct.
Which brings me to my next question. You'd almost have to be considered a corner lot because you've got frontage on both streets.
Correct. The problem is that the definition in the zoning bylaw says that you're supposed to have the house access from where your legal frontage is, which is the 150. So it's basically almost like a corner lot, but you can't have your driveway access come in from, if you had a corner lot, the side that has the majority of the frontage, that's where the driveway has to come in from. So it's really not well defined when you have, let's call it a double frontage lot.
Right?
So if you have a double frontage lot, your driveway access has to come in from the side where you have the 150. So if we had 150 on one side and we had 90, 100, 140, or 149.9, we'd have to have the driveway come in from the one that has the 150, because that's the definition in the bylaw.
Right.
But in many cases, we have double frontage lots, but
Right, you have a double frontage lot, but you don't have both the frontages. You don't have the 150.
right. But it's still a legal lot because it does have 150 feet of frontage on Andover Street. If it weren't for wetlands, then that's the way that you'd come in, so there'd still be a dwelling in there. So picture a long driveway coming off Andover Street down into where the existing dwelling is now, and that would just be reversed so that the deck would be facing Long Meadow Road and the front of the house would be facing the woods.
Conservation,
Still- House is still gonna be in the same location.
but conservation wouldn't allow you to do that, would they?
Well, if that's the only way we have access to the property, they would, but it's, really not ideal for the environment. So if you were going to do that crossing, they say, well, what is your alternative analysis? And the alternative analysis would be to come in from Long Meadow Road, which requires a variance, and they'd say, okay, go do that first, and then, but, it just, when we had talked to Stefania about it, she just said, wow, that would be, quite a major impact on the resource area. You'd have to do some restoration and some drainage work, and so it's part of the reason that we feel that shape topography and wetlands make the lot unique category that allows you to grant a variance.
So when this was subdivided in 2016, right now, you're saying that you have 11,000, a little better than 11,000 of continuous uplands,
Correct.
but when it was subdivided,
In 2016, there was probably about 30,000.
21,780?
That's the minimum that you need to have, but in 2016, we had,
All right, I was still reading.
we had, I mean, now we're showing 27 not contiguous, but in 26, a considerable amount of, you can see from that map, there's a considerable amount of contiguous upland. I don't know why they subdivided it that way. I would have thought the, in 2016, Lot 1 would have abutted the lot on the corner, but they didn't do it that way.
Abutted the lot on the corner.
Pardon me, sir?
Were these other lots, were these sold in 2016? Was this a bigger parcel in 2016?
That Lot 1 was created in 2016.
So what are you calling Lot 1? Sanders? Or Lot A?
Flanagan. The Saunders lot was created, many years ago, 20 years or so ago. The Flanagan one was created in 2016.
A and B was 2016. Lot A and B.
Yeah, I think they called it 1 and 2 back in 2016 on your last plan there.
I'm what?
You're looking at the O'Hara plan.
Looking at all the plans. Now, this was original before anything was divided. And I get it, this was the parcel, right?
Yeah,
All of that,
the house has been there for many years.
right?
And then they sold this property off to one family member, and the family kept the rest of it.
So the family kept, this is that house, right?
The
That,
family kept all of this.
right,
Yeah.
which is all of this.
Right.
And then it was divided. So now it was divided here. This line was added. So now this,
Now,
and this is a lot,
right.
6 and almost 7 acres. Right, I get it. All right, any questions, board members?
I have some questions about the upland areas. So I think it's 21,780 square foot's required, and they only have 11,468-ish.
Yes.
So if you look in here, right? Sorry.
Get back on the mic and we'll talk.
Contiguous, right. Well, what we're saying is a hardship of how much the land changed in 5 years.
Go ahead and ask your question. I just needed you on mic.
I just wanted to understand the uplands a little bit better. Is the 4130 requirement is he's doesn't have 150, he's got 90, he's looking for a variance, but the uplands, how does, explain that to me.
Continuous uplands means continuous dry land, correct?
Correct.
So you got, I lost
So
the page now.
it's required that he has 21,780 square feet, and he only has around 50%.
Yeah, 11,460.
We have 11,460 contiguous, but we have 27,000 total. 2016, we probably had about 35 houses.
So when they put the new lots in place, they moved things around and it,
No, the wetlands just grew exponentially.
So they're saying, what he's saying right now is means one continuous stretch. He's got 11,468 square feet. Zoning requires 21,780. What he's saying is non-continuous, which would mean the total of dry land is 27,017 is what he has. But it's not continuous. And you're also looking for a variance from the strict interpretation of frontage. So you want us to tell you it's okay to park the car from Long Meadow and not Andover Street, right?
Correct. Summed up pretty well on paragraph 9,
Yeah.
what you just said, Mr. Chairman.
So on your map, it says bordering vegetated wetlands is the green.
That's the green, correct?
So is green your wetlands or is green your
Yes.
uplands?
No, the green is the wetlands.
That's what I thought.
The technical term, I guess, is bordering vegetated wetland.
So you're calculating your uplands from where the house is gonna sit and then kind of the heart-shaped spot up on the back there.
Correct.
What about the rest of that lot, Lot B? That's pretty dry.
It's pretty dry, but when you look at the 50 from the wetland areas,
Yep.
first you're gonna have to have a wetland crossing, which would be less impact, having a major crossing. But there's a second line. Can't put anything, can't build anything in this area here. If you just have to maybe a little, here. And then this is very, very steep. It comes up into here.
Well, this,
I think they're gonna try to, I don't know, but I think they mentioned to, see if Audubon donated to, open space, or see if any of the abutters want to extend their backyards up on.
pretty steep, right, with the close lines? Pretty
Yeah,
steep.
the closer they are, the steeper it is. Yeah. many, many years ago, they had contemplated, you know, putting a road up in there and, you know, getting 5 or 6 lots in there. And when I looked at the topography and I spoke to the previous, one of the previous owners, who was a very well-respected man, Mr. Charles Rose, I told him, I says, you can't do it. It's too steep to put a road up in there because, you know, from one side of the road to the other. So,
Well, it's hard to see off the road, too.
yeah. And then every year that goes by, the wetlands grows. And so if they don't quickly, they'll have no land left.
Right. Yeah. Any questions right now?
And, yeah,
No?
the unfortunate thing is that the wetlands keeps getting larger because the drainage from Andover Street and everything up above comes down into that area, so now the wetlands keeps growing.
Right.
You know, there's no easement for that drainage to flow there from the town road, but it's gone in there, and over the years, it's made it, you know, looked at this thing back in 2000, and there was probably only less
Excuse
than
me,
a third
guys.
of that was wet.
Can you guys quiet down until we open it up to the public, please? Thank you, I appreciate it.
So, you know, back in 2000, it was probably only about a third of that was wet, and it just, you know, the more the drain at the end of the street, it just keeps growing and growing and growing.
So that means the upland area is going to continue to reduce in size?
Well, no more questions right now. We'll open it to the public. They seem... Right. At this time, we'll open it to the public. If anyone here would like to speak, come up to the podium, state your name and address, and direct your questions to me, and speak.
Joe English, 94 Long Meadow Road. I'm sorry, I rushed down. Couldn't get through through the telephone. I tried to call in. Couldn't do it, sorry.
I'm glad you're here, Joe.
Huh?
I'm glad you're here.
Thanks.
All right.
Quick history. I've lived here for 67 years. The family's owned the property, the 90 acres in the back, 87.35 to be exact, for a little over 100 years. A little under 100 years, excuse me. I take exception with the gentleman's discussion about Sir Charles Zaroulis. The town of Tewksbury has denigrated the farm that my grandfather and my grandmother purchased, my aunts and uncles kept, and I've been keeping. He is correct that the wetlands keep increasing because we don't take care of Troll Brook. That originally there was $250,000, Middlesex, we're talking in the 60s, put up to clean that brook. Who knows where the money went? All you're going to do is devalue my property more. They've already sold 2 pieces of property. That originally was 1 parcel with the White House, Mrs. Zaroulis, Jimmy Zaroulis, his house. That's where George, that's not where Charlie or Andrew grew up. They subdivided so that the daughter and the son, George, could have a house next to 133. When you're looking to put a road in, well, the possibility of a road is wetland, and it was wet when I was a kid. I was also informed that I couldn't do anything at the farm, agriculturally or anywhere else other than develop it, unless the street was done. I'm not going to develop the property. Is he going to have to put in a whole new road?
He's not proposing a road
Well, how's he going to get in?
from
133?
No, from Long Meadow.
That's what I'm talking about, Long Meadow.
What
Long
he-
Meadow is 18 feet. When you came through, when the town of Tewksbury came through with the sewer line, we asked them to make it 24 feet. It's hard to get through there right now when people park on Long Meadow Road.
What he proposed, and
Okay,
I don't know
I
if
tried to
you-
listen to it while I was driving.
I understand. What he proposed is, you're obviously very familiar with the lot. 133, the frontage on 133 will not be used at all. Long Meadow, on that stretch between the first house and the second house, 98 feet, 90 feet, the house will be there, the driveway will be off of Long Meadow.
Well, my contention would be, he should have to do the same thing the town expects me to do,
Where is your farm exactly?
right at the end of the road.
At the end of Long Meadow?
Yes.
And you have 100 acres back there, you said?
Well, it's 87.35 to be exact. There's 65 acres plus 3 lots on the other side of Budding Long Meadow Golf Course.
Okay. So is your house the last house on this? Are you
Yes,
looking
it
at this
is.
one? Okay.
And we sat, my aunt and I sat here when sewage was coming through, and they proposed a brook, okay? We should have kept our mouths shut, because it was gravity feed, no matter where it went on our property. But that allowed George Zeroulas to buy the property on the other side of the street, develop 4 homes, which are the 4 newest homes on that side of the street.
When you say the other side of the street, right side of the street as you're
Yes,
driving
as you're
from?
driving down, it'll be the right side.
Okay.
The little blue house in the middle, that was built by the people that originally lived in Nancy's house. 70 Long Meadow,
Okay.
okay? The one that just got sold at the top of the house, at the top of the street, on the right-hand side, was Westy. That was another relationship. Where Paul lives was Helen. I mean, I grew up there. I knew these people. I know the property. They could swim and learn how to swim in Trout Brook. You can't even... I used to take a raft up and down that brook. The gentleman is correct, but all he's going to do is add more wetland to everybody that exists there right now. And the other discussion is, the zoning board and the town allowed building of Buttman's property off of Troll Road. Great, beautiful complex, dry as a bone. All their water goes into a collection pool that whoever owns the property where that collection pool is, they cut it so it goes into that pond next to Nancy, between Nancy and my property. I've had the fire department there 4 times, twice while Nancy was been there, twice while the other people, Glenn, in that house, to get my aunt, because the water was so much. Anywhere he develops on that side, anywhere on that road, is going to create water, even if I do it, okay? And all I'm doing is losing more and more property. It expands from the pond that's right at the end of the street. We asked for a box culvert to be put in. Still have 2 6-inch pipes there. Before there's any development, I think there should be some study done. And I'd love to have you all come out any day you want and walk it with you. Saturday, Sunday, the holy days, I don't really care. But you see what I'm talking about. I'll walk you through my property. There's a development that was done off of Guile, 7. That's added more water to that little brook that used to flow through to that pond. I know the town wants to expand. I want to grow grass or weed or whatever. I can't do it because there's too much traffic. He wants to put in a street with 4 houses, 3 houses. But that's not enough traffic. There's usually 2 cars to each house. Yeah, I mean, I did find out from Tufts that I have to go through you all, but he can't, the town manager can't stop me from developing, and that's agricultural. I'm here to answer any questions. I'm sorry to get here so late. I'll turn this back over to the other people.
Thank you.
One other thing, if anyone would like to get a hold of me, it's 508-626-6249, joe.english, english94@verizon.net.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Name and address, please, sir.
My name's Paul Ogden. I live at 60 Long Meadow Road.
If you don't mind, explain to me where that is, because the map that we're looking at doesn't have house numbers on it. First house, second house, third house, next to Joe.
Okay, I live next to Nancy's house. So
Mr.
I'm
Chairman,
the 1, 2, 3, 4th house on the street.
the street numbers are on this map, Mr. Chairman.
Now, my biggest thing is they've been in my backyard, and I gotta bring this map over to you. They've been in my backyard doing surveys all summer, and they're showing wetlands right here. On the surveyor's map, they show wetlands right there, where they're not showing it here for some reason, I don't know why. But when that guy was in my backyard,
If you could.
in this corner.
Excuse me, if you could. Go back so you get on mic and just hold it up and point at it. We have the same map, we can follow with you.
Yeah. They showed, on the surveyor's map, when the guy was in my backyard, I looked at his map. He had wetlands right next to my house. They show the green right here, but they conveniently leave the green off here. It comes all the way down to the side, it comes all the way down to the road right here. They show the green, a little bit of the green right here, only because it's their land. They're not showing it. This map is not really representing the wetlands because it comes all the way down to the road. Over here, this is definitely, I looked at the surveyor's map, and when he was out there putting the pink ribbons in the tree, I said, "What are you doing here?" And right in between what he's talking about, the Zeroulis' house and this white cape here, there's wetland. It's not showing on this map. It shows, it starts back here. But it's there every year. You can ask Tony, he lives on the street too. There's standing water there every single year. Every single year. And it's not, right where they want to put that driveway in, it's not showing here. So they're being deceitful with this map right here. And I don't like that. If you look at how they got their green, only on their land, so you look at this map, you go, oh, wow, well, no. It comes all the way down. This house, this new house right here, has practically got a moat around it. There's so much water around this house right here. I got ducks swimming in the side over here, all right? This is all hill. My yard goes right to here, and then 133. If you're on 133, going up Andover Road, that straight hill, that's his backyard. That's my backyard. Everything right here all leans this way. So for Tony's yard and Joe's yard, that's the only way the water, unless the water's gonna start climbing uphill, it's coming over to Joe's yard, my yard, Tony's yard, Nancy's yard. They're not showing you all the wetland in here. There's more than what they're being deceitful, and it's
I
not
take
right.
exception to that, Mr. Chairman, being deceitful. It's not on our property. We can't map
I-
wetlands. It's not on our property.
Hold on. If
When
you
they
do
come
look-
out
hold
handing
on.
out these maps,
Hold on, sir.
they're talking about wetland.
Hold on,
They-
hold on. They can only do their own property. So if you look at the map, it's very obvious.
They could only do their own property, but I was there with the surveyor, and right here, they're not showing you, right here in this road where they want to put that driveway, they're not showing you, and that's why they're saying, I'm saying that they're being deceitful.
You-
I looked at,
You-
right here,
you can
is
make-
where there's water
You
standing
can,
all
hold
the
on,
time.
hold on. You can make that point. I couldn't point out a wetland to you. I'm sorry, but I don't think you're qualified to specifically say what a wetland is. I'm not.
I kind of think
I
when you
will
got
take- I
standing
will
water,
take your
that
point.
qualifies as wetland. I got it right across the
But it
street from
doesn't.
me, Nancy's
But
got it
it-
right next to her house,
But
I got it
hold
next to
on.
my house.
Are you going to let me speak, or are you going to talk over me?
I'm gonna let you speak.
Thank you. So standing water doesn't necessarily mean wetlands. That's a fact. If you saw a surveyor, perhaps you saw what you saw, but to come in here and say that the applicant is deceitful, that's not how we work here.
Okay, so
You can
so-
say that perhaps this map doesn't show everything. To start name-calling is just wrong, and I won't have it.
Okay? I'm telling you what I saw on the surveyor's map,
And that's what I want to hear.
and that's what I saw. Now,
Thank
it's
you.
not showing on this, and that's what I got to say, and that's where I'm gonna leave it at.
Thank you.
The survey is talking about works for me, and this is the plan that we developed based on what the wetland scientist mapped.
Yes, sir. Name and address for the record, please.
Tony Ringus, 55 Long Meadow Road.
Yes, sir.
I want to embellish a bit on what the points that Paul was making. I do not know if in the area where he wants to put this house. What I do know is I have seen standing water on that exact location. And that standing water is there for several months of the year, and it is there every year. It's not like 1 year's more wet than another. There's standing water on that lot every year, and at least for a few months of every year. He's talking about ducks swimming. I've seen ducks swimming in that exact location. I don't know if that constitutes a wetland. What I can tell you is that during those times of the year, when there is that standing water, if he puts a house there, that water that would have been there is going to be someplace else, and that's going to expand the wetlands in and around my property, Joe's property, and the other properties on the street, Nancy's property. That's what I wanted to add here, is that the standing water that's there is going to add to the wetlands that are in this area and cause problems for the neighbors and all the abutters.
So you're actually 2 houses down from the proposed lot, correct?
Yes, and on the other side of the street.
You said 55?
Yes, 55.
Okay. Gotcha.
And you could see the, well, it's not illustrated well here, but you can see that the back of my property, there's standing water in the back of my yard.
Well,
365 days of the year, there's standing water in the back of my yard.
that whole neighborhood's pretty wet. I mean, that's,
Yeah. I've been lucky where my house is dry, but as the wetlands get larger, that brings some risk to where I'm living.
yes. Thank you. Sure, still open to the public.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to go over a couple of things on Long Meadow Road, and I don't see them in this plan. First, along Long Meadow Road, there is not a number on each one of these lots, but between 55 and 60, there is a small culvert. I believe it's a 6-inch pipe. That has a drainage lead that comes from the hill straight down. That's not shown. It's right next to the driveway of 60. There's also a trench that was developed that went through the originating property, which would be the White House, the Mr. and Mrs. Zaroulis' house. I'm not sure the number because they're not, it would be lot 33 on your, on this map. That trench went right across from lot 33 to 133 Andover Street. If you go there now, you can see the trench. It'll have water in it. And it was designed to drain the water that came off of 133 because we had no drainage on Long Meadow Road. Am I explaining it?
Following you completely.
Okay, good. Again, that culvert was never increased or enlarged with the development above or any of the developments along the other side, which would be lot 50. Was it 50? No, map 20. Yeah, 50. Anything on that side, and that drains right in between your house at 55.
So when that was originally put in, how many houses was it servicing? How many lots?
The original was that one house, the Zeroulas house. And they bought that from the Jacolas who owned the house before us that Nancy lives in. And we were the first in the street.
So how many, when it was built, when it's constructed, how many they had to service?
On the whole street,
Yes. They had to service for that.
when their house was built, there were Nancy's house, Paul's house, the big house that was originally Troll's or Hunter's house that was moved down from North Street. That wasn't there. Zeroulas house, there was one house at the top of the street and the one house at, between the four new houses, two new houses on either side.
Okay, thank you. And how many houses have expanded since then? How many properties have
Let's see, we
expanded?
have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Thank you.
I'm not trying to discourage any development in the town at all, but it seems every time there's something that goes on in this town, in this neck of the woods, I end up losing acreage. Until we come up with a plan, or the town comes up with a plan, along with Middlesex Mosquito Control. I'd also like to say that I have a gentleman who hunts on my property. He catches the beaver. He's a licensed beaver trapper. I give him the permission to bow hunt on the property if he takes the beaver. The town's been pretty good at emptying out the culvert at 133, but it's a small culvert. When DiMatteo, De Palma built on the property on 133, there was only supposed to be originally 2 houses. The town allowed them to build 8 houses. The water even more. The church, that's even more water that goes into it. I mean, I understand parking lots, but there hasn't been any provisions since the 60s to maintain any of this water. Now, I can build on the property, my farm. I've got offers from many people from the town, developers. I'm not particularly interested in that, but I would like to maintain what I have and not lose any more.
How much usable land do you have? You said you have a 100-acre parcel.
Well, the last time I had a survey done of property. We got between 40 and 45 acres, and that's with a wetland crossing to 3 acres on the other side. So,
How many did you have when you were a kid?
well, we had cows on the other side. We hayed the other side of the brook. We used to come in from Troll Road, from Clark Road, with a Farm All Age tractor, which my cousins still have, mow it, and they took a hay wagon out around Clark, which got into trouble with, I forget the chief's name, but it wasn't Chief Sullivan. And when I was a kid, as I said, we had a 4-barrel, 55-gallon barrel, wooden frame, little barge that we'd run up and down the brook with. And we'd start over where Arthur Demoulas lives. That was Sears' property. That was a hill. She removed all the fill, all the gravel from there, left it stripped. Jimmy, I forget Jimmy's name, but he developed a piece of property behind me that abuts me with the 7 houses off of Guile Ave. Not Guile, what the devil's the name of the street?
Poland Ave.
Who?
Poland.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
That, just what I had said about that drainage and it should have been maintained when they developed the second Zeroulas home, which is where George lived.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, I appreciate the second, Chair. I'm letting you catch my breath.
Sorry, else, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, yes, please.
I was not aware, Tony Ringus, 55 Long Meadow Road. I was not aware of the drainage that Joe mentioned. I had wondered about it. I had seen that it started, it looks like it starts right in the middle of where they want to build their house on this property. It goes down across the wetlands that's in the subdivided property. I wonder, is that ditch would have had to have continued in front of, what number is that, 30, is that 40? In front of 40? Or is that? It would have, that trench that Joe's talking about would have had to continue in front of 40 through the wetlands that's in the subdivided property, and then in front of 50, and then into the culvert that goes underneath the road between 50 and Paul's house. 60 and Paul's house. Well, and Paul's house is 60, excuse me. So I don't see that drawn here, and that would be basically from, at least from where they're building that, where they plan to build that house, all the way across in front of the abutter, again across the wetlands in the subdivided area, and then across 50, and then into the culvert at 60. That is definitely not maintained. I don't know, it looks like some of it has been filled in, and that may contribute to some of the wetland issues in this area. But I have only been lived in this house for 30 years, so I don't know. I don't have quite the history that Joe has to know if that had been filled. I had just suspected it because I had seen the trench in that abutted area. I was wondering how far down it goes, but just to add to what Joe had said about the fact that trench had gone practically the length of the entire road. That's a piece that I'm not sure of, but it looks like it did, and I'm questioning that.
Just Joey Bush again. I promise it'll be last time. The trench started just below 133 on Long Meadow Road, where the existing house is that was George's. I don't know the numbers, I'm sorry. I don't pay attention to the numbers of the street.
First house off the corner?
Yeah, the first house coming down Long Meadow on the left-hand side.
20.
Yeah, that trench ran all the way to the original Zeroulas house. There was a culvert that went in between, that went across 133 at the time, that ran out in an open, there was no trench on the other side, it just opened, drained into Troll Brook. Between that house, between the original Zeroulas house, and that trench then ran across through on the other side. And that collected the majority of the water. Didn't have that much water. There was always water. There was always dam, but, in the wet season. But it was never like it is today. I mean, I'm serious. I have pictures of the fire department going up to get my aunt. Because I couldn't get up there. I went up one day with waders, and it was way above my little chubby belly button. But I'd really appreciate it if you all get together and come up, and I can actually physically show you along with the engineer. And he can dispute what I say, and I'll dispute if I think he's incorrect in the history.
Typically, if we do a site walk, we do it alone, with no influence from anyone,
Oh,
separately.
okay. Not a problem.
But we do appreciate the offer. Maybe we can come up hunting or something.
Bow hunt?
Go for a hayride.
If you can take out beaver, you can come up and hunt. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. All right.
Do I go there or do I say here?
You over there?
Nancy Rigo, 70 Long Meadow Road. Just to add on, my biggest concern is the water as well. I too have had tons of water issues, and I'm at that last house on the street before Joe. On the same side, my only concern is that the culvert is constantly getting backed up. Whether I'm out there with the rake, or I call the town to come out and clean it out, it's really that water that backlogs there, and it all comes up on my land that I'm most concerned about. And every time anything is done and it rains like it has been, it just takes over. It's just too wet, too much wetlands surrounding it. If the culvert was extended, if the road was cleaned up, that would be different. I don't have a problem with more development, like Joe had said, but it's got to be done right. Our street is a hot mess. Nobody's ever come down to repave it, I think, since it's been built. And if we have more traffic, it's just going to make it worse than it is now.
Thank you, Mrs. Rigo. Anything else, board members?
Nope, I got nothing.
I'm not gonna-
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay, I'm sure you're familiar with the area, but maybe the rest of the board members, this particular area is all lawn that's mowed in this particular location where we're proposing the house. The other frontage that we have, they're correct. The drainage comes down the street, and because it's never been maintained properly, this area that shows the wetlands from 18C to 18D to 187 has now become, it wasn't before because of poor maintenance. So it's not the Zeroulis' family's responsibility to maintain Long Meadow Road. It's actually to their detriment that it wasn't maintained, because now they've got 8 acres of land, but for trying to get this variance is totally useless. There's no requirement to upgrade the road for this house. I know what happened with Mr. English. I think he was proposing 30 homes, and the town says, well, if you're going to put 30 homes in there, you need to widen the road to 24 feet. If he's going to build 2 houses, he wouldn't have to do that. So basically, yeah, there should be some maintenance done down there, and if the maintenance were done, we would have probably a 6-lot subdivision going in there now, and not coming in here and trying to get at least something out of the property to put one lot. If that area is mowed. Second point is, we would, if successful with the variance, we would have to go to conservation, and at conservation, we would have to figure out ways of making sure that it's not going to make the situation any worse. Nobody is obligated to make it better, but you're obligated to prove that you're not going to make it worse. And that's something that we would have to do with conservation, which we can't do without getting past this board. So that's where we stand.
Rebuttal. Mr. English, nor Marcella Neveska, who was the administratrix of the property, nor Joseph Nidzavatskas ever proposed building anything other than 1 house and 4 barns. So wherever you got that information.
I got the
it is
plans in
incorrect.
my,
Oh, you can show me the plans. They was never brought to the town. I never brought them.
you said if you wanted it, if I may, Mr.
I had to,
Chairman,
you have to get a value of the property. So you had to have somebody come in and do what you do and give me an idea. And that was done in the 90s, I think.
68.
Part of the- When?
I think it was 68 or 69.
Oh, then I didn't even own the property then, so Mr. English didn't do it. I didn't take the property. They didn't give me the property until 84.
Thank you, Mr. English. You promised it would be the last time.
I know, but I had to rebut
You did.
my name being used in vain
You-
about a development.
Wasn't in
Well, it wasn't
vain.
being- I
Wasn't in
believe you
vain.
said that the town asked you that you would have to widen the road, and they wouldn't have said that for
No,
one
I
house.
asked that they-
I'm not gonna get into an argument.
Came through. When the
It's-
sewer line
it's-
came through, we asked the town to widen the road 20 to 24 feet from the existing 18. The town told the contractor, no, they were gonna leave it as it is. That's where the 24 feet came from.
Thank you. All right, last time.
Paul Ogden, 60 Long Meadow Road.
Yes,
I
sir.
think I heard this man just say that they had 8 acres or 9 acres that they're worried about not being able to use.
What he stated was, since the wetlands have overtaken that parcel of land, because he has paperwork saying that the wetlands have grown exponentially through no fault of the landowner, they've lost quite a bit of land.
So didn't he also state that he had no recourse on updating the land or making the land any worth any more? So he has no interest in making it worth more, right? He has no obligation or anything. But see, the land he's talking about, those 8 acres, it's all hill. It's wetland.
Right, I
and
believe
it's
what he was
a hill.
referring to.
What?
I believe what he was referring to.
You what?
I believe, let me get closer to the mic. What he was referring to is the parcel was originally 8 acres. In 2016, it was divided to 1.5 acres and 6.5 acres. And since 2016, the water coming off of Route 133 that we've all been talking about all night has consumed that 1.5 acre parcel. We all know that the other 6 acres is a steep hill. You're never going to build anything on it. The applicant stated that himself. What he stated was that the 1 acre and 1.38, with the water coming off of Route 133, has turned it into more of a wetland than it was previously. So what he stated
From
was,
2016, he's saying that? It's turned in more from 2016?
yes, he's lost more land since 2016.
And we see this is going to stop by building a house?
That's for us to decide, but he stated
Okay,
it.
That's all I wanted to know is,
He wrote it in his application.
so he's saying that by building a house there, it's going to stop this?
It's not what he
Okay,
said.
that was my
He
question.
gave us a letter of fact.
That's my only question. Is what he's saying is that, so he's not saying by building a house there, he's saying he's losing this land, right?
What he said, he said 2 things, sir. What the applicant stated was, if we vote favorably for his variance, he has to go to the Conservation Commission and prove that it won't make the condition worse. He doesn't have to make it better, but he can't make it worse. That was one thing he stated. He also stated that between 2016 and now, the water coming off Route 133, Andover Street, has taken more of that parcel of land.
Okay, so what he's saying is from 2016 to now, so 5 years, it's gotten worse.
Yes.
Okay, so by putting, is going to make it better?
He doesn't,
That's my question. We got a problem here, and that's my question, is how are we going to solve the problem? If he's putting a house there, is that going to solve the water problem?
No.
no, of course that's not going to
Okay,
solve the
so
water
it's
problem.
getting worse in 5 years. We know just by him. In 5 years, we're losing major land here. So putting a house there is going to help it?
I believe I've said no 5 times
Well,
now.
that's my question. And I'm saying, that's my question.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. No more questions.
You'll be back.
You said the point, at some point, there'll be no more land left to use, period.
You were saying,
Basically, the Conservation Commission would ensure that if we can put a building dwelling in there without making the situation any worse, then they would give us a order of conditions. If we can't demonstrate that, they won't give us an order of conditions, so. But if nothing is done, then basically the land gets taken by nature and the family loses out on property that they've owned and have relied on to use for their retirement. As it is, they had hoped to put 6 house lots in there, but should have done it 30 years ago, and they didn't, so. can't put it back now. Can't put so,
Right. Anything else, board members? I personally would like to go out there and walk around and look at this.
If that's what you want to do, we'll do it.
That's, yeah, I'd like to go out there and look at it. And I've driven down the street, but I've never really paid attention to it.
I've driven down the street, and I have driven down the street.
I haven't paid attention to the water in the street and across the street and the culverts and the
I believe,
grass.
Mr. Chairman, if you go out there, the property line between the property line that's on the right of our lot where Flanders is, and I'm not sure if the tall stakes are still in there, but you can, if you take the plan with you, you can find your way around in there, and you can see the wet flag.
Okay. And we have your permission to walk the property?
I'm pretty sure that I will get that from the owner.
You'll let our office know?
Yep, I'll get that in touch with that. I'll get in touch with Alex, hopefully tomorrow, because she's going on vacation next week.
I think she's on vacation this week.
Oh, this week? Oh, all right.
I think she's coming back soon.
Yeah.
'Cause we had to go get.
Anyway, we'll get the word to you
Okay.
one way or the other. I don't think it's gonna be a problem, but I just,
We still need their permission. Does that sound good with the board?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes?
yes.
So we'll look for a motion to continue scheduled hearing unless there's anything else you'd like to say.
if you need more copies of the plan, if each one of you has one, that's fine. Otherwise, I can get you more copies.
Oh, I got plenty.
Okay.
Are we continuing to the next
Next scheduled hearing.
next scheduled hearing?
Yep.
I'd like to make a motion to continue. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Apologies. I'd like to make a motion to continue SNR Realty, request for a variance from section 40, SNR Realty on behalf of Charles George and Andrew Zarulis for a variance from section 4130, Appendix B, for minimum frontage, and section 4148 for minimum required contiguous uplands of the Tewksbury zoning bylaw to construct a single-family home as shown on plans filed with this board. Said property is located at 40 Long Meadow Drive, Assessor Map 26, Lot 124, zoned residential to August 26, 2021.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. That'll be the same time.
Same time, 6:30.
Okay.
We put them all at 6:30.
Yeah, I know.
What I will do is I will reach out to our office and see if there's any maps from the town on this area. That way we have some of our own maps. All right, so it's continued. We're not going to talk about it anymore. Continued to next month. I didn't hear what he said. I didn't hear what you said.
There's aerial photos if you want it.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll see everyone next meeting. All right, any old business? I'd like to congratulate our new chair. It's about time you guys took me off the chair. Thank you for doing that. Those are yours. We're looking for one new member still, if anyone's interested in joining the board. And that's about it. Anything from the board members? Nothing? Still good to be back in the hall.
Back in the building.
All right. If anyone would like to make a motion to adjourn?
Like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion's been made and double seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.